Pat with Pat's 2 cents. Hello, everybody. I want to share something with you real quick. A lot of people don't think about, but I thank God. And this is what it's all about, y'all. Do you know when I first started out in my life, in my walk on this planet Earth, I had to battle through all kind of insecurities and negative input, negative reinforcements, being bullied, being made fun of, the whole 9 yards. Most of us have that behind us. But here's the trip. There was also a level of self-hatred, self-centeredness, selfishness, a lot of things, a lot of anger, a lot of rage that resulted from a lot of that treatment from the past. And this is what I want to share with you. For many of you who want to know why some of us are so dedicated to an invisible God that we cannot put our hands on, that we cannot walk down the street with for everybody to see. This invisible God, the people wonder why we put so much attention on this invisible entity that many folks don't even know is real or not. Well, let me tell you this. There's an old song that they used to sing that says, if heaven never was promised to me, neither God's promise to live eternally, it's been worth just having the Lord on my side. Living in a world of darkness, He brought me the light. Now, I lived in my own darkness. Some of it was of my own making. I lived in my own cesspool of horrors. Some of it was from my own ingredients. But here's the crazy part. What I was thinking about that this afternoon. You know how some of us have hatred in our hearts, or we have a lot of anger or frustration or unfulfilled longings, being ungratified, being unsatisfied, being empty. Some of us can say we've been vacío, empty, 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 like Papo Rivera sings. But let me tell you, there comes a point in your life when all the resentment, all the bitterness, when you turn things over to God, here's the miracle. It's not just a get out of hell free ticket. That's not it. For me, it was, Lord, I need help. I'm a mess. And what God did for me was He took the hatred and flipped the script, flipped the switch, and turned the hatred into love. He took the bitterness, the resentment, flipped the script, flipped the switch, and turned that instantly, I'm telling you, turned that into forgiveness and mercy. He turned the meanness that had accumulated in my spirit and turned it into kindness. He turned the selfishness, what about me? What about me? What about me? And turned that into, what about him? What about her? What about them? It's something, I don't know how God does it, but He has worked so many crazy, bizarre, mind-blowing miracles in my heart, mind, and spirit. To this day, it still blows my mind. I know I'm not trying to promote a book, but I did write a book called That Still Blows My Mind. And a lot of those stories, those mind-blowing incidents that happened in my life are right there in that book. And yes, it's on Amazon. But listen, you guys, I remember the time when my neighbor, I'm going to share some detailed, embarrassing stories. You can laugh at me afterwards or while you're hearing it. I remember stories of my neighbor asking me when I told her I planned to move back to New York. And she said, what about your father? You know what my response was? And I had a wonderful father, y'all. What about him? It's my life. I ain't got to live his life. That's for him to do. I got to go live my life. I'm not going to be bogged down with somebody I got to take care of when I haven't even had a chance at me yet. I was very selfish, very self-centered, and I resented her even raising the question. I mean, I was angry with her. What nerve? Ain't none of your business what I do with my life. You worried about him, you take care of him. That was my attitude. Ooh, you didn't know I was that ugly, did you? Okay. But what happened was after I got saved and I asked God to fill me with his Holy Spirit, which changes your nature, by the way. That's what the Holy Spirit does. All of a sudden, I'm begging God, Lord, let my father come out of the hospital. Let him live long enough so I can lead him to the Lord and show him the love you put in my heart and show him how much I love and appreciate him. And I'll do whatever it takes, Lord. I mean, I was willing to wipe booties and feed and bathe and do whatever needed to be done to show that man, that wonderful man, that he had a daughter he did not waste his life on, because now it was her turn to love and take care of him. But remember the conversation I had with my neighbor? Yeah, that was before God, before Christ. This is after Christ. That's the kind of flip he can do in your heart. There was a guy that did me wrong, and in my mind, this is another story, he was dead as far as I was concerned. Dead meat. Don't acknowledge me. Don't look at me. I will not look at you. And I want you to know how dead you are. And if you are to die, I would throw a party, buy balloons and streamers and throw a party on your grave and celebrate it, baby, because I hate you that much. Guess what? God flipped that script too. All of a sudden, I see the brother at a store working as a security guard. And my neighbor, who was at that point my spiritual mentor, was going in the store with me. And I saw the guy standing there and I said, hey, so-and-so, how you doing? It just came out. It was like an impulse, a reflex that I didn't even control. And I was smiling. I was free. I was all at peace inside. And he looked at me. He did a double take. You talking to me? And I said, yeah, how you doing? I'm doing fine, Pat. He didn't know what to say because he got the memo. He knew how much I hated him. I made it obvious. I rubbed it in. Well, he said, it's been a long time. How you been? What you been doing? I said, well, here's my witness. I gave my heart to the Lord. I am a born-again Christian. I've been there now for about 6 months. And the Lord, I'm getting to know the Lord every day. So anyway, how you been doing? And he's like, I've been doing fine. He was so beside himself. He didn't know what to do, what to say. He was awkward because I was so different. Why was I different? God flipped the script. He flipped the switch. And the hatred, the bitterness, the resentment, the anger, the rage, you dead boy, was gone. And I see a person that I want to get to know God for himself, and the love and the freedom and the air was clear. There was no lump in my throat, no knot in my gut, all gone. I couldn't do that, y'all. I couldn't even forgive the brother. I told the Lord I couldn't forgive him, but I asked God to give me the ability. I didn't know he could do it like that. I mean, the things God can do in your heart will blow your mind. I'm telling you. The Lord one night gave me a dream. God gave me this dream, y'all. And in this dream, guess what I was doing? Something I would have killed somebody for doing if I were, whatever, if my mother was still alive. But my mother had passed away. And I knew that a lot of my emotional scars stemmed from my relationship with her and the things she used to say and do in my life when I was a kid. So she would call me the little bitch. Okay. She would also, if I wanted affection, she would say, okay, Patty, make it quick. You give me the creeps. So there was a lot of negative reinforcement. Something's wrong with you. This, that. But the other kids she seemed to adore. So I thought I was the curse of her life. And a lot of that built up a lot of insecurity. I started stuttering and all kind of stuff came from it. Well, guess what? The Lord gave me a dream that I was slapping her, bam, slapping her forward, bam, slapping her backward, bam, right across her face, right and left, bam, 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 bam. The more I hit her, the more I enjoyed it. All this venom, all this rage, all this hostility was coming up. And it woke me up. And when I woke up, I started crying. I said, Lord, I would never do that to my mother. Why am I dreaming something so horrible? And God ministered to my spirit. I want to heal that. That needs healing, and I'm going to heal you. And I was like, well, God, heal me, because I didn't know I had that much anger towards my mother. Sure enough, guess what? He gave me about 5 or 6 dreams over the course of 2 years. And the one dream that got me the most, that freed me up, was when, because I had forgiven my mother, but God said the scars were still there. The damage was still there. The anger was still there. So he had to get that out of me. And what happened was, I'm dreaming that I'm in my bedroom, which was one of the main places where my mother would get on my case. And in the dream, she said something. She didn't say anything negative. She was calm, very calm. And my mother was high strung. She would blow off the handle in a minute. But she was very calm in the dream. And I said, I did what I normally did as a kid. Mommy, can I have a hug? Now, in the dream, I expected the normal freezing up, the rigid stance. As she said, Patty, make it quick. You know, you give me the creeps. She was still my mommy, and I wanted a hug, even though I was an adult. So I reached around and put my arms around her, right? And when I put my arms around her, her arms raised up and wrapped around me and caressed me with all this loving warmth and affection. And I am telling you, as an adult, I never peed on myself, but I tell you what, I felt like emotionally I had totally lost all control, because I never felt that from her before. And it was like a dam of water broke in my emotions. And I said, God, oh my goodness. I said, Mama, this was all I ever wanted from you. I just wanted to be cherished by her. And God gave me what I needed, y'all. I'm telling you. And that need was fulfilled in that one moment from a lifetime of starving for it. Only God can do that. Okay, here's another one. I dreamt the same type of dream about a year later. And in the dream, I referred to the other time. I said, Mama, you remember when you hugged me? And I said, this was all I ever wanted from you. And we were hugging each other. And I woke up and I said, Lord, I cried the first time. Why didn't I cry this time? And God said, because that need is fully met in you now. You no longer need that. Oh my God. Okay, then the last one, I'll stop here. The last one was, I had a debate with my mother. This is about another 6 months or so. I had a debate with my mother over the Bible. She said one thing, I said another. Well, it wasn't anything deep. It was just, one of them little opinion things. And I said, well, that's what you believe, but this is what I believe. And I said whatever it was, which was neither here nor there in the dream. When I woke up from that dream, because neither one of us were angry, we were just having a discussion. I said, Lord, what was that debate about? And God clearly said, you no longer need your mother's approval. Oh my God, how freeing that is. See, God will take you to the deepest core of your innermost being, of your soul, your gut, your psyche, wherever the hidden horrors are. I call it my cesspool of horrors. He will go into the filthiest areas of your life, the filthiest areas of your memory, of your actions, of whatever it is, your guilt, whatever it is that bogs you down and weighs you down, whatever cripples you. And guess what? He will gouge that thing out of you. And when it's gone, here's the ultimate one for me. I got to tell you this one, and then I'm done. I was on my couch. This was maybe 10 years down the road. On my couch, thinking about some little snide remark somebody said. Wasn't anything deep, wasn't deep enough to hurt my feelings, nothing, didn't even hurt. But for some reason, it kept bugging me. And I couldn't go to sleep for replaying that comment in my mind. And I said, I learned to ask God questions. You should too. That's when you get a lot of answers about yourself, because we don't know ourselves like God does. So I said, Lord, why does that bother me so much? Why is it I want to go to sleep? I can normally just drop right off to sleep. Why is that bugging me? And God specifically said one word to me. He said the word rejection. Rejection? What does that have to do with anything? Well, because I didn't know, but I knew God did, and that was the answer he gave me. I asked God to get rejection out of me at the root. And what God was showing me was rejection controlled how I interacted. Rejection controlled the decisions I made, whether I said yay or nay, whether I accommodated someone or not. Rejection determined how desperate I would feel, how hurt I would feel. It made me vulnerable. It was a whole lot of control that rejection had in my life. So God wanted to remove that. And his word says he'll lay the axe at the root. So that's why I asked God to get it out at the root. Well, guess what? I spent the next 2 hours. I didn't expect that to happen. All this emotion wells up in me. I'm crying, I'm howling, I'm crying, I'm howling. And then for 2 hours, guess what I did? I spent 2 hours dry heaving. I was like, oh, you know how you think you're going to upchuck? Well, I wasn't nauseous. I didn't feel sick, but all this was, for like 2 hours. And then all of a sudden I felt like I had lost 100 pounds, y'all. I was free. In a way, I was already free being saved from what I used to be all bound up in sin. But this time was the new level of freedom I had never experienced. God did a job on me, y'all, and the confidence that came in place of the rejection, it was like I had an assuredness of who I was as an individual. I didn't feel like a walking apology any longer. I didn't feel less than anybody anymore. I could be in a group of people before that and I'd feel like the small p amongst a bunch of giants. Didn't matter who they were. I was the small p. At this point, I was just equal or level with everybody. I didn't have a high or a low. I was just me and satisfied to be me. It was just such a confidence and a boldness God had put in me. And I just thank God for the inner healing. That's why you need to walk with God. If there were never any streets of gold, neither God's promise that we would never grow old. It's always worth having the Lord in our life. Living in a world of darkness, He's brought me the light, and He will do the same to you if you are willing, open, and ready to receive all that comes with salvation. Not forgiveness alone. It's a big cavern, a big treasure chest of benefits that come with walking with the Lord. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless His holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all His benefits, who forgives all thy sins and heals all your diseases. Bless the Lord, O my soul. God bless you. That's my story.